Dangerous Conspiracy Theories, Season 2. This picture represents conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Today we're going to be picking a couple from each category until we reach Tier 10, the point of no return. Alright, welcome to Tier 2. Today we're going to be talking about the fluoride theory. Real quick, I just want to say none of these theories represent my own personal beliefs. I just researched them and I picked the ones that are most interesting. Okay, first let's talk about what fluoride is. Fluoride is a chemical that's most commonly added to water and toothpaste. The purpose for adding fluoride is to supposedly prevent tooth decay. Now let's talk about the conspiracy. In 1960, the US implemented a law that allowed the government to put fluoride in everybody's public water. Meaning anyone who got their water from a sink, water hose, anything, they were drinking fluoride unknowingly. And it's actually still around to this day. Now you might be thinking to yourself, this is a good thing. Well, according to some people, it's not. Fluoride has been known to cause cancer, diabetes, lower IQ, and even lower fertility rates. There's a whole lot more, just take a look. When these effects started coming out, the US then declared that fluoride was safe to drink. If that was the case, then explain to me why all of these countries have fluoride banned. All of these countries did their own independent testing and they concluded that fluoride is extremely toxic. And some countries even concluded that fluoride suppresses thoughts. Also, if we take a look at the cancer chart, we can see around the same time fluoride was introduced in the United States, cancer rates spiked. So the question is fluoride safe to consume, or is the government using it as a way to control the population? If you want to see another Tier 2 that I explained, I just posted one on my Instagram. My Instagram is AustinVro. If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to like and follow for Tier 3 tomorrow. Welcome to Tier 4. Today we're going to be talking about Dropa stones. Dropa stones are claimed to be proof of aliens. Just take a look at some of these things. The detail is incredible. In 1938, a doctor led an expedition into some caves in China. These caves supposedly contain traces of an ancient civilization. The man went into these caves and under rocks and dust they found 716 of these Dropa stones. Each of these Dropa stones have hieroglyphics on them that tell a very strange story, and even weirder than that, these stones are claimed to be over 12,000 years old. In 1962, a researcher claimed he deciphered some of these hieroglyphics that were on the Dropa stones. And apparently the hieroglyphics told a story of a spaceship that crashed into the same cave these men got these out of. It then goes on to say that aliens refer to themselves as Dropa, which hence the name. These Dropa stones have been researched by tons of scientists, but more specifically Russia. Russia claims that they put these discs in a specific order and then they started to vibrate and make weird humming noises. After it became public that these Dropa stones started to vibrate, nobody has seen them ever again. And nobody knows where they are even to this day. In fact, some ufologists even came out publicly and said they are willing to pay $50 million for just one out of the 716 stones. So the question is, are these just ancient stones with hieroglyphics on them, or is the person who made these stones trying to warn us of something much darker? Make sure to like and follow for Tier 5. We're going to be talking about Ouija boards. A Ouija board is a board printed with numbers, letters, and symbols in hopes of communicating with the dead. The history of the Ouija board is just as mysterious as the game itself. A woman named Helen Peters claimed to be a very strong psychic and actually invented the board herself. Eventually, Helen Peters' brother-in-law named Elijah wanted to get these things patented so that he could sell these everywhere. Helen Peters and Elijah traveled everywhere trying to get this patent, but the offices said they couldn't release a patent unless they had proof of it working. But consequently, nobody in these offices wanted to even get close to the board for unknown reasons. Until one day they traveled to Washington, D.C., and the chief of patent walked in the room and said, "You don't know me and I don't know you." Then he said, "If this board can tell me my name, I will sign the patent for you right now." The board apparently spelled the man's name. He walked out of the office, looked at Helen Peters and said, "You got your patent." Years later, Helen Peters and Elijah had a falling out, and Helen said she no longer wanted anything to do with this board. Elijah, on the other hand, continued selling these boards until one day he fell off of a 3-story building. He actually survived the fall, and some bystanders saw his body laying in the road. They picked him up, put him in the car, and they hit a bump in the road and his broken rib pierced through his heart. After that, the family sold the rights to the board, and all the way up until Helen Peters' death, her last words is, "Do not play the Ouija board, it lies." And now you can buy a Ouija board from any store and they're marketed to children. So the question remains, are these boards just a hoax, or was Helen Peters trying to warn us of something much darker? Make sure to like and follow for Tier 2. Welcome to Tier 3. Today we're going to be talking about Fulcanelli. Fulcanelli was a man who apparently was an alchemist, and he wasn't just an alchemist. He was the best of the best. Alchemy is the power to turn base metals into gold. If you've ever seen Harry Potter, you're in luck, because according to this theory, that movie could become real life. Let's talk about the conspiracy. Fulcanelli is one of the world's most unknown people to ever exist. It was long believed that he never even existed until one day they found writing from him and even tracked down some of the students that he taught. The books are even in question because people analyzed those writings and found out there's secret messages hidden inside of them that we just can't solve. What's crazy is one of the students he taught was named Eugene. Eugene apparently turned 100 grams of lead into gold and apparently was very wealthy at the time of his death, backing up this claim. Pretty much Falconelli taught Eugene everything that he knew. You might be thinking to yourself, there's no way this is true. Well, there was multiple eyewitness reports that didn't just see him do it once, but they saw him do it multiple occasions. Then years later, Falconelli just disappeared from the face of the earth. Nobody knows what he looks like, nobody knows whether he's buried, and nobody knows whether he's still alive. Something notable to mention, it's been proven that the military was looking for him right before his disappearance. So the question remains, did Falconelli and his students just fake this entire thing, or was the powers he possessed so powerful that he had to go into hiding? Make sure to check out my Instagram, AustinVro. I posted a video about the Philosopher's Stone, so you might want to go check that out. Make sure to like and follow for tier 4. Today we're going to be talking about Max Spires. Max Spires was a famous conspiracy theorist who believed the government kidnapped him when he was young to try and turn him into a super soldier. Max then claims he escaped from the government and for the rest of his life he dedicated to exposing the elites who kidnapped him. Alright, now that you know who he is, just listen to this. He's spoken a ton of TED Talks and even held conferences talking about government control. Pretty much he was advocating that the government shouldn't have any power over you. That was until he visited his friend in Switzerland, sat on his friend's couch, and immediately started throwing up black liquid. And then he died. This is real, by the way. The cause of death is still unknown to this day, but what's interesting is what happened in those final moments. Just 12 hours before, he texted his mom and said that he was on to something, and if something happens to him, to investigate. Then his fiance came out and said that he had a conference planned in Switzerland where he was going to expose some of the elites and all of their connections. Here's the thing, the autopsy reported that it was natural causes, but what healthy, fit, 39-year-old man starts throwing up black liquid, and why is that natural causes? So the question is, did Max just supposedly die from natural causes, or was there someone or a group trying to silence him before the conference? Make sure to like and follow for tier 6, it only goes up from here. This one is weird, but it's on the list, so let's talk about it. Today we're going to be talking about streetlight interference. Have you ever thought you were psychic? Well, today you're going to find out if you are. The streetlight interference phenomenon is a theory where people believe they can turn off streetlights just from walking past them or even just looking at it. You might think this is crazy, but there's literally thousands of people who believe that they can do this. Like, check out this video. This guy starts whispering and then watch the light. It doesn't just end there. Take a look at this one.
Went out again.
You got it?
Yeah.
I highly encourage you guys to duet this video and try it out for yourself because I'm curious if any of my followers have this sort of ability. Make sure to like and follow.
It needs a new light bulb.